Hey guys, this is Kris Jones, and this is episode 14 of Ask Me Anything. I'm really excited about the next 10 to 15 minutes. It's because I have lived by the mantra that my father had encouraged me to live by at a young age. And it's called the KISS principle. Nothing profound about it, but it's called keeping it simple, stupid. Sometimes in life, we come across as smart because we're simply able to execute whatever it is that we go after in life. And I'll tell you, that principle in and of itself has allowed me to truly keep it simple, stupid, and generate a lot of wins, a lot of successes over all these years. So what I thought with this particular episode was to make it a little bit more personal. I'm going to share with you some of the quotes, because I think that's one way to keep life simple, stupid, is by kind of living your life and making decisions within a real simple framework. And there have been so many thousands or tens of thousands of successful people who've been able to create sort of a snapshot idea that has profound implications when we internalize it. So with that said, let's start with one of my favorite quotes that I actually came up with many years ago. When I was, I realized at some point that every day when I wake up, whether or not that day was going to be great or not, that would come down to my attitude and my willingness to make it the best possible day. So the first quote is, and those of you that know me have heard me say this so many times, is simple. It's called, "Every day is a baseline." I came up with that because I think that I'm a humanist at heart, and I believe that we'll have very positive days and very negative days or hours or whatever it is for your particular life experience. We'll be challenged, but we'll also have these moments worth celebrating. But at the end of the day, we all go to bed and we all wake up the next morning. And each day is a fresh day. It's a new baseline. And the reason why I love that quote, and it's one of the quotes I live by every day, is that even if yesterday was hard, or if it was amazing, today is a new baseline. It gives us a new opportunity to set course towards whatever it is that we want to accomplish or experience. And I hope that benefits you. I hope you wrote it down, and I hope it's something that you reflect on in your own life. A couple of quick quotes from Tony Robbins. "In your moments of decision, that is when your destiny is shaped." In your moments of decision is when your destiny is shaped. So I guess that means that by virtue of being human, we will be faced with opportunities that come into our lives, and we'll have the ability to either take advantage of that or not. In that moment, it defines the direction we end up taking. I also believe that this quote to me resonates because I think a lot of us are hesitant to make decisions because we feel like by making that decision, things will change, and change scares us, or by making the decision, we may have to work harder, we may not get the result that we want. But the profound nature of decisions is that if you don't make them, you'll always get what you've always gotten. But if you make them, you have the ability to move in a different direction. And if you're careful, that's why it's in that moment, if you're careful but decisive, you've got to be willing to take that first step. But if you're decisive, then you have the opportunity to improve your life, to improve your existence. And so I love that quote by Tony. Another one by him is, he says, "We are defined by the stories we tell ourselves." Oh, man. I'm a big believer in a self-fulfilling prophecy. All that basically means is that we kind of rise to the expectations that our peer group have for us. It's a profound, insight as a parent because we have a profound impact on our children's belief in themselves. It's just crazy. But what about personal accountability around the stories we tell ourselves? The stories we tell ourselves. So, I am not fat. I'm big boned. Okay? If you're big boned, then you're less likely to take action about the negative health consequences of being obese or overweight. I'm in this bad relationship, and it's been like this for years, but it's going to get better. I just know that he or she is going to change. The stories we tell ourselves about whether or not we have something or we don't have something, whether or not we have the ability or the time is now to take action, sets the course for whether or not we take action or not. So I don't know. I've been to so many Tony shows, and I think that this one quote, this one concept, has the ability to change your life right now. Think about it. Is your story? Here's my question: is your story that you tell yourself empowering or disempowering? When you tell the story, tell it out loud, write it down, whatever that story is. And the stories are usually around things that you're not happy about, or that you feel like you need to take action or make a decision about. Whatever that story is, go ahead and say it out loud. Write it down. Now answer, is that story empowering or not? Now what you do is you actually rewrite the story. You rewrite the story so that it's empowering, and so that the end result is more likely to have a positive impact on your life and the people around you than the story you're currently telling yourself. And I just know that if you guys are honest, because listen, I do the same thing to myself. I won't go into the story right now. I'll talk to you guys about it in a future episode. But normally, if you're not getting what you want, you've got to dig deeper and say to yourself, what's the story around it? Is the reason I'm not getting what I want happiness, love, financial security, whatever it might be, because of some disempowering story that you're telling yourself? Write it down, say it out loud, and trust me, iterate it. Tell a more empowering story. And repeat it in your head. And live by that new story, not the old story. All right. You guys might be feeling a little bit, down or whatever from those first couple. So let me turn gears real quick into something that I care deeply about and something that I've studied a lot, which is happiness. I feel that often in life we reach for things to make us happy, or we end up trying to get other people to respond to us in certain ways that we think will make us happy. And over the years, I've read a lot of books, most recently something called The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor. If you care about happiness or you just want to learn more about the sort of scientific roots of happiness, go ahead and buy that book. Shawn was a Harvard professor for many years, and he's put out some of the most seminal work on happiness. So I care deeply about it, and I'm a student. I live the same life that you guys are living. It snows out here on the East Coast. It gets dark at night, gets light in the morning. Car accidents, people are getting pulled over by the cops. There's a lot of craziness going out there in the world. So how do you kind of cut through that and stay happy? Again, let's keep it simple, stupid. Let's use a couple quotes from Shawn and others, and then reflect on them. So one of the things Shawn says is that happiness is not the belief that we don't need to change, it is the realization that we can. What's more empowering than knowing that your decision, your willingness to take a step in a new direction, could be that start towards you becoming more fulfilled and more happy? It's pretty awesome. H. Jackson Brown Jr. says, love is when the other person's happiness is more important than your own. Wow. There are a lot of books out there, whether it be The Secret, whether it be, there's just so many of them, that talk about this idea of just karma. What you put out there is what you get back. Making other people happy as a life's mission or as a big part of who you are is one way of becoming happier. When you start, especially the people closest to you in your life, isn't it weird that the human condition is often that we use as battering rams the people we care most about? It is what it is. I do it. I just try to do it less. I try to stop myself when I see it happening. But again, how profound. If we allow other people that we care most about, preferably, if we put their happiness ahead of our own, that might be, certainly the definition of love, but it also might be part of the key to happiness. So Jim Rohn, who was actually the guy that Tony Robbins learned from, and early in Tony's career, he actually was sort of a protege of Jim Rohn, traveled with him, helped Jim fill his events that he was holding. So Jim's a really awesome guy. If you guys like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn's got some material that you could get on through Success Magazine at success.com. That's just awesome. I've recently, in the last couple of years, I've gotten into it, and it's like you could tell a lot of the roots of Tony's thinking come from Jim at its core. But Jim says, happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. Pretty cool. So I find that there are two secrets to happiness. Having read a lot and really struggled, but own it, and I tend to be much happier, more happy than most people. Yet it's a constant work in progress. Two secrets that I've found. Number one, love. You've got to give it without expectations. Find the person that you love most and stop setting expectations on how you want them to love you in return. Just love them. Just love them unconditionally and see what happens. Second is optimism. I truly believe, which we talked about in some of the quotes that I just mentioned, is one of the secrets to life success and certainly happiness. But optimism is a belief that you have control over your destiny. At the end of the day, what's more fulfilling than knowing that despite challenges that come your way, you're going to be okay. You're going to make the best of it. You're going to get through it. You're going to kind of cut through and be okay. Optimism is a belief that failure isn't an endpoint. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow, to pivot. You ever hear the quote, pissing in the wind? You know what failure is? Failure is an opportunity not to get pissed on twice. Optimism is where it's at. And it's not easy because I think there are so many outside factors, whether it be television, whether it be water cooler talk, whether it be that negative person you have to deal with every day, that really challenges your ability to remain optimistic. But I could tell you that through all of my life, that has been probably the primary defining characteristic of my success. It's just that I believe that I'll get through it and I'll make the best of it. I kind of use the analogy of a sponge. So picture like a sponge, but not just a sponge, but one that is filled with water. It's how I live my life. Think about how much opportunity there is in that sponge, before there's no water left. And you know what? I like full sponges. So as soon as there's little water left, just walk over to the sink or walk over to the pool or walk over to the ocean or walk over to the lake, put the sponge back in, and it's full again. That's the opportunity we all have to live our life. And again, it's not easy. But I hope that this episode was reflective for you. At the end of the day, don't overcomplicate your life. There's so many examples out there that you could grab and hold on to that make life easier to understand. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Adopt a real simple approach to your happiness, to your ability to remain optimistic, to your ability to show progress in your life, because that will ultimately lead to a lot of positive outcomes, and you're going to be just fine. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you found it valuable. It was difficult for me to just kind of, only select 5 or 6 quotes, but these are quotes that I live by. These are quotes that I reflect on before I make a decision. And so I hope you guys find some value in them. And if any of them resonated with you, I hope that, you could carry them with you. Print them out, hang them on your computer, post them to your computer, put them on a Post-it note, put them around the house. And if they didn't resonate with you, find a couple, maybe 5 that do. Print them out, put them in your wallet, put them in your back pocket, carry them around with you, memorize them, share them with people you love, because that's what I just did. Thank you.